Join us as we explain the impact of the first budget of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third term.
Your investments, your future. Watch how the budget drives India's Atmanirbhar markets.
From taxes to healthcare, from Manrega to Ayushman Bharat, we bring you all the policy moves.
Get expert insights on how Nirmala Sitharaman's 7th budget affects your finances.
Decode the big numbers and the new policies shaping our nation's future. Tune in to Business Today for Modinomics 3.0 live on Budget Day.
Presented by ICICI Direct, banking partner PNB.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is the Modinomics 3.0 special edition of Market Today presented to you by ICICI Direct. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. The all-important budget week begins today and everyone wants to know how equity markets are likely to trade for this all-important week amidst weak cues from across the globe and signs of profit-taking on our own markets right after the recent bull run that we have seen. Even on Friday that we saw, the Nifty snapped a 4-day gaining streak. It witnessed its biggest single-day fall since June 4, the day of the Lok Sabha elections results, when the Nifty had crashed almost 6%. Even as the Nifty fell over 1% on Friday, the good part is that it's managed to hold on to marginal gains for the week, which actually means that it's made to the 7th straight weekly gain for the index. Now, as far as the markets are concerned, across the globe, there are several developments that have taken place. Markets will be reacting to Joe Biden withdrawing from 2024 presidential race. He's endorsed Kamala Harris now. How the global markets shape up after this will also be important to track. Back home on the earnings front, Reliance Industries, HDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Yes Bank, RBL will be all reacting to their quarterly results today. And several others will be reporting their numbers. Indian Overseas Bank, Suzlon, UCO Bank, IDBI Bank, Cyient, Coforge, they will all be reporting their earnings today. And of course, it's an important day because Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is set to table the pre-budget document in Parliament today, right ahead of the Union budget presentation tomorrow. The economic survey of 2023-24 will be presented in the Lok Sabha today at 1 p.m. and Rajya Sabha at 2 p.m., which will give insights on the state of the economy for all our viewers. Some uncertainty could emerge due to the comments from both RBI Governor and Shakti Kanta Das as well as SEBI Chairperson Madhavi Puri Bhuj on the household savings being deployed into speculative activities and rising F&O volumes. That has ignited a widespread debate on the street as to what will be coming in forward from here. So lots to react on. Good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with our usual screen that you see on a fairly regular basis, which is the Nifty index. And from the closing of 27th May, it's been a very singular rise. So 24,530 is what we shut shop on Friday, and it was 22,530. Talk about mathematics. So an exact 2,000 point rally that we've seen, minus 269 that you saw on Friday, which was very, very heavy ultra HNI selling that we saw across the board on the last working day of the previous week, simply because there are fears that taxes on the capital markets, because people have made so much of money, will go up, and that is something that is worrying the market. So some money has been taken off, about a percentage point in. So from 22,530 to 24,530, a 2,000 point rally over the past 7 weeks is what we've seen, May 27th to 22nd of July, exactly almost 2 months for you. Now let's look at what the markets are most likely to do. We are on a back foot simply because of the selling pressure that you saw on Thursday. Remember, we rose very sharply on Thursday, which was a point of 187 point uptick, and then we lost 269 points. So that is something that's a little worrisome. I'll make and see if it's possible for you to see the Nifty chart, and then you'll see that the red candle that has formed ahead of the event is a slightly worrisome picture, exactly this. So we are on 8 and 5 EMA, we are taking support on that one. The index has actually closed below the 5 EMA. That's a bit worrisome. Let us see how it shapes up today. The shaping up will be because of the muted numbers that is coming from Reliance Industries, from HDFC Bank. Kotak has shown a sharp increase in its profit and profitability, but that's been driven by the sale of its general insurance business to Zurich. So that is something to be worried about. So these three major indices are likely to be under some selling pressure. Nifty Bank is right there in front of you. It's done pretty much nothing. Kotak around 21 EMA in front of you. Look at how Reliance has shaped up. Look at how HDFC is in pain as far as charts are concerned. And this is what we are going to react to. It's a very heavy earnings day as far as Monday is concerned, and of course tomorrow is the main big day which markets wait for with great hope. Nothing much as far as the options data is concerned. Everything is skewed in favor of for the moment traders on the short side. If you look at the Nifty, which closed at 54,530, 24,530, you will see a very strong support coming in at 24,400, 24,350. So if you get an intraday dip towards that, and possibly you will because of the very sharp rise in volatility, most likely you will see that dip being purchased into. As usual, despite selling pressure, Sakshi, on the main index, you saw railway stocks doing pretty well. So I hope that trend continues. But for the moment, let's just be a little cautious and stay away from very aggressive trades. This is crude oil futures for you. They are below 200-day DMA. That's the only positive that I found in global markets, and the fact that now the race to the White House is reduced to a simple one-horse race. So probably Mr. Trump will be the new president of the United States, and that's good news for the long term as far as Indian equities are concerned, Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shail. Well, on Friday, the US markets did end in the red. There was profit taking that continued on the select chip stocks. But tonight is when the stocks will react to Joe Biden's withdrawal from the US presidential election race. And as I said earlier, Biden has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to replace him as the party's candidate. We did see the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500 all lower by 0.7% to 0.9%. So a sharp downtick emerged across the board on Friday night. The US 10-year bond yield now quotes around 4.2% among commodities. Gold futures eased to $24.10 an ounce. We also did see Brent crude oil futures dipping to about $83 a barrel as well. So that's the positive that Shail's also talked about. Equity markets in Asia have been trading with significant losses in the early morning's trading action. So when we look at Japan's Nikkei, you will see over a percent dip right there, 1.1% dip on that one. Malaysia's Kospi about 1% each is what we've seen. Hang Seng, however, is holding on to about 0.4% of gains, but the Shanghai also has tumbled by 0.7%, and the Taiwan also has tumbled by more than 2% as well. So across the board, there is weakness that is trickling in. That's now indicating that the Gift Nifty is also looking at a gap down start today. It's almost trading with a 0.4% loss in the Gift Nifty as of now. When we look at the flows now, the foreign investors, remember, on Friday had bought shares worth about 1,506 odd crore rupees in the cash market. Domestic institutional investors, they remained net sellers and they sold worth about 461 odd crore rupees on Friday. Of course, a whole host of other stocks will now be important to track. RIL, mixed bag of set of earnings. It missed the estimates on the revenue front. That dipped about 2%. Profit slipped about 20% sequentially, but a 5.5% downtick on a year-on-year basis. The O2C business did point out to some weakness, but it was resilient in an overall weakness kind of a scenario. But Jio's ARPU also also has remained flat for the third straight quarter as of now. When we look at HDFC Bank, here the net interest income came in at 29,837 crores, higher than the estimates. Net profit came in at 16,174 crores. That also beat estimates as well. Provisions down 80% sequentially, although NPAs both on gross and net side inched a bit higher in trade. Wipro, the constant currency revenue declined by 1%. It was the sixth quarterly decline in revenue that Wipro reported. EBIT margins remained stable at 16.5%. The Q2 revenue growth, however, is seen between -1% to +1% in constant currency terms. The ADR stock of Wipro ended 11.5% lower on the Wall Street. So we'll see how that reflects in the Indian markets today. Kotak Mahindra Bank, here the net interest income came in at 6,842 crores, lower than estimates. Net profit came in at 6,249 crores. That was higher than estimates. The margins came in at 5.02%, and this is the lowest in 8 quarters, so that's a bit of a pressure point. Yes Bank, here the net interest income came higher than 12% year-on-year basis. Net profit was up 46.7% year-on-year. Provisions down 55% quarter-on-quarter basis, and we've seen that the gross NPA is absolutely flat at 1.7%. RBL Bank, the net profit here was up 29% at 371 crores. We did see net interest income also jump 19.5%. Gross NPAs came in at 2.69%, slightly higher than the previous quarter. Slippages are also up by 5.9%. So we'll continue to keep an eye out on this one. Although the positive part is that the NIMs have come in at an all-time high of 5.67%. JSW Steel, again a beat on top line as revenue growth, but a small miss on the margins front. ICICI Lombard, here the profit increased by 48.7% in the first quarter. The company's gross premium in the June quarter increased by 19.8% as well. And lastly, I'm looking at Vedanta. That's also declared the preferred bidder for 2 important mining blocks. So that could be reacting to that news too. Share.
Amar Singh, Senior Vice President Research for Angel One, is with us. Namaste Amarji, a very warm welcome to you. Good morning. And just a penultimate day before the budget, the markets sort of breathing a sigh of relief on Friday and coming down sharply, mostly on ultra HNI profit booking. What are your investors doing at this point of time? What is Angel One telling its traders and investors to do for the budget?
And thank you for having me on the show. So, there are a lot of expectations from the budget this time, and also this budget is definitely different from all the last 10 budgets that we've had, because this is going to be one, I would say, coalition government which would be coming out with the budget. So, how the finance minister really balances between the hopes and aspirations of 1.5, 1.6 billion people, apart from that, different sectors, different industries. At the same time, the I would say clamor for tax cuts for the middle class. So a lot is being expected from this budget, and also the thrust on infrastructure, which has been there for the last decade or so, that definitely needs to continue with the same momentum, because that's where we will see a lot of growth and opportunities happening, because ultimately India needs a creation of many jobs, not only in the services sector but also in the manufacturing sector, and there we definitely have an advantage in terms of the workforce. But in terms of other aspects, a lot needs to be done, because a lot of work or a lot of manufacturing is shifting from China and other countries, but a lot can be done. What we are currently, we can be at least 20 to 25x from where we are as of today. But that would require more a proactive approach, more business-friendly approach, and also the ease of doing business for the small and SME sector, because there also a lot of jobs needs to be created. So I would say fingers crossed. Yes, we did see correction profit booking. That was along expected lines, because if you remember on the 4th of June, the election result day, markets had cracked significantly, and then we are up by almost from those levels. The high was almost 18-20%, and again we've seen some correction. So that's a fair bit. Corrections are part of a healthy market. So we are definitely advising our investors that the long-term uptrend remains intact across across sectors. But yes, some stocks have definitely, the valuations have been on the higher side, so you need to be cautious. But if you look at anything from a longer-term perspective, 10-year, 15, 20-year perspective, you'll find that, I missed the bus. So if you keep that in mind, but at the same time, you have to stick to quality stocks because you can't get into stocks which are very illiquid. You can't get into stocks which have some controversy around it. So you have to be very clear there that you should stick with quality and the leaders in the specific sectors. So that is the opportunity. And apart from that, those who really don't have the time for that sort of analysis, then for them, I would say the ETFs are a good way of entering the market. But the thing is, you have to have somewhere the discipline and the consistency. These two things are most important: being disciplined and consistency. So if these two are there, then I would say returns would anyway outperform the fixed deposit returns or the fixed income return from a very significant margin.
Amarji, any key stocks that you are finding lucrative after the recent dips where you are advising fresh purchases, or would you like to just stay on the sidelines till the time the budget is presented?
I would say budget isn't too far. It's only tomorrow, so better wait out. But I would say if you look at the sectors, I would say in terms of banking, some of the banking stocks definitely would perform. See the way SBI has outperformed, because there was a time when the public sector banks, no one was touching them. Then we've seen outperformance by SBI. So SBI is there, then ICICI Bank is there from a long-term perspective. If you look at other sectors, I would say renewables, energy, automobile sector. Then again, tourism is one space. Then healthcare is another space. So sectors, I would say most of the sectors would grow. Yes, the quantum of growth, the steadiness of growth, the pace of growth, that would definitely vary. Like for example, if you look at FMCG, more or less slow and steady. So and also if you look at companies, in sectors you'll have to come down to companies. So very large size companies, their growth would not be as much as mid-cap companies or small-cap companies. But again, the risks are comparatively higher when you look at a small cap or a mid cap as compared to the large cap. So these are certain aspects which investors would definitely have to look into as to the risk and reward ratio.
Right. With that background in mind, ladies and gentlemen, what we'll do is we'll again show you the chart of Reliance Industries Limited. Remember, earnings came in over the weekend, and this is a counter which is up 6.1% over the last 3 months, and of course one of the top performers of Nifty, also the second heaviest weighted counter. Amarji, what are the earnings at Reliance Industries telling you? Is this something on the telecom space which interests you? A lot of positivity coming out from quarterly earnings as far as ARPUs are concerned, growth in data is concerned, and of course the impending listing of Reliance Jio.
See, if you look at Reliance, and if you look at the way Reliance has really moved up over the last few weeks, because it was in for consolidation, it was unable to breach the 3,000 levels, then it rallied significantly higher towards almost, if you look at the recent highs, that's almost 3,200 levels. So there was a 7-8% rally, but that's a big percent in terms of when you look at the overall size of Reliance and its weightage in the index, which is almost at par with HDFC Bank. So, and the highest. So Reliance is one stock which is definitely, because it has got it is into different sectors. So this is into oil and gas, into geo, into I would say telecom. So there is a lot of growth opportunities there, no doubt about it. The tariff hikes have also definitely added to the I would say revenues to a certain extent. So yeah, Reliance is Reliance is one stock which one can definitely have in one's portfolio, but more of a stock SIP is always a good opportunity. I would say if you don't want to do a monthly, go for a quarterly, at least because ultimately you have to remember one thing, or investors need to remember one thing, is that markets are cyclical in nature. So if you have a bull market, you'll have consolidation, you would also have correction. So if you're not investing in this entire scheme of things in the entire time frame, maybe that could be anywhere between 3 to 5 years, you are missing out. So maybe you'll be just entering at the top and then the market witnesses some correction and then you're not entering at the bottom. So a law of averages and the law of compounding will only work when you look at it from a cyclical perspective. I would say anywhere between 4 to 6 years.
Right. Amarji, the other important number that markets will react to today is HDFC Bank. We've seen how the stock has been a big, huge underperformer with some signs emerging on the positive side over the last few weeks. Do the earnings point to further uptick from that we have seen over the last few weeks on HDFC Bank?
See, if you look at HDFC Bank, so HDFC Bank, overall, what we witnessed in HDFC Bank is that it was consolidating, then there was a major correction, and then I would say the merger with the HDFC, that was maybe not as much valued by investors, which they perceived the value to be created. So that really didn't materialize, and HDFC definitely underperformed if you look at the other banks, be it ICICI, be it Axis, be it SBI. So they definitely have outperformed HDFC Bank by a significant margin. Having said that, we did witness a sharp up move in HDFC Bank from almost 1400 to 1800 levels, and then again some correction. So the results, I would say, would have an impact on the markets, but more or less, I see consolidation in HDFC till the time we don't see it, because currently it's around 1600 odd levels. So this is a bank, I would say, amongst the private sector bank, which has a bright future. But being a large size bank, you also need to manage better, and at the same time you have to maintain the growth and expectations of the investors, because that has been heavily built in HDFC Bank. So that's what is to be looked at. So I would say HDFC is more or less consolidating. I wouldn't really get into this. Maybe lower levels on correction, a buying opportunity, but otherwise it's purely in a consolidation zone as of now.
Okay, 5 minutes left to the pre-open start on Monday. We'll also take a look at the long-term chart of Kotak Bank and get Amar's view on this counter. Sakshi, amongst the three major results that were declared over the weekend, Kotak is least up, adding only 1.5% over the last 3 months. And numbers again were buttressed by a very sharp other income, which is from profit of sale of its 70% general insurance business to Zurich. The numbers of Kotak and its stock price will come on the screen in a moment. Lekin Amarji, what's your view on Kotak? Again, an underperformer. Nothing much has happened on the stock over the last 4 years, in line with what HDFC Bank has performed.
Yeah, so anyone having invested in HDFC Bank or Kotak Bank over the last few years, they would have really missed the bus. So it becomes very important that if you look at it from a long-term perspective, and also from the growth trajectory perspective and the investor perception, because the investor perception, investor sentiment towards a particular sector first and particular stock becomes very important. So that has been very different for ICICI Bank, for Axis Bank, or for SBI for that matter, or some of the PHC banks. So Kotak Mahindra Bank, again, a similar story, I would say, as HDFC Bank, really not much interest in the investors, and it seems to be capped on the upside. So currently it's around 1820, so I would say 1920, 1950, that's a zone of resistance for the stock. And if you look at the long-term charts, they really point towards consolidation. There isn't any trend materializing in this particular stock. On the downside, somewhere around 1700. So 1700 and 1950, that's the zone for Kotak Mahindra Bank. This is a stock, and for example, HDFC is good from a trading perspective, that you buy around support levels, major support levels, you sell around resistance. That's it. We are not seeing any trend materializing in either of these two anytime soon.
Sakshi, what was interesting was I was listening to Kotak Bank's con call, the management con call that they held for the media, and typically there were no timelines given for this RBI issue that the bank is facing on its welcoming its new customers on the digital space. And with that interim pause in place, one doesn't really know where growth is going to come in. Their securities business and their AMC business have done fantastically well, but the main bank business grew just 2%.
Absolutely, and that's why there has been a concern, and the margins also lowest in 8 quarters. The NIMs, that continues to be a pain point for Kotak Mahindra Bank as well. Apart from this, Yes Bank is something that Amarji, I wanted you to give or enlighten our viewers about, because this is one of the stocks that traders always keep an eye out on. We refrain from taking a view on Yes Bank on an everyday basis because of the kind of historical past that we have seen here. But the earnings have actually come in better. So net profit jumping about 46-47% odd, net interest income 12.2% higher, provisions are down by 55%. Does it throw any fundamental positive insight on Yes Bank that could show a turning of the tide now on this stock?
See, Yes Bank, I would say a lot of people, a lot of investors are expecting that maybe there would be a significant turnaround and it would once again come back to its glorious days, wherein it used to trade, if you go back in time, so the stock at a point of time used to trade almost 400 in 2018. And then the stock witnessed a major correction and at least sort of 24, 25 levels. So see, this is one stock for those investors who have a higher risk appetite, one. Secondly, if you see that the stock did rally, with stock rallied almost from 15 recently in October, it was around 15, 16, and then it doubled from there, 32 levels, currently it's 24, 25. I wouldn't read much into it because it's more for consolidation on the higher side, 27, 28. That would be the first zone of resistance. If that is taken out, then the stock could witness around 10-15% rally towards 30, 32 levels. That's it. Any major, I would say, structural change in the organization or the performance really outperforming the expectations of investors on a sustained basis, that could add some value to the stock. Otherwise, it's in for consolidation. On the upside, 30, 32 max on the upside. On the downside, it's got around support around the 18-20 zone. So that's a level to watch out for.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the pre-open numbers are upon us. Obviously, these are volatile digits, but we'll show them to you. Minus 132 on the Nifty, 24,400 on the screen. And that's because of a very sharp opening downtick on Reliance, 1.2% lower, 3,071. They are massaging HDFC Bank to show that all is well. 37 rupees higher at 1645, the numbers said no such thing. Kotak Bank is 71 rupees lower at 1750, downtick of 4%. Obviously, these numbers will settle down, but the downtick on Reliance and the uptick on HDFC Bank are slightly on the extreme, as also is the reaction that you see on Kotak. Nevertheless, जो भाव है वो आपके सामने है. ICICI Bank is 55 rupees lower, 1192. This will also improve dramatically, as also I don't see a single green tick on the top index 10 heavyweights that we track. We'll give Nifty a bit of a breather and look at stocks that are on the gaining side as far as Nifty 500 is concerned. Of all stocks, Yes Bank 6.5% higher, 2632, a sharp positive reaction to the numbers that it brought up over the weekend. In terms of most active counters with a shade of green, I see Dixon Technologies about 9% higher, 12,350. Remember, this is a pre-budget uptick. A lot of expectations coming in from vast swaths of the industry that you will see PLI schemes being extended and better options coming up for such industries. Policy Bazaar 4% higher, 1470. And any other interesting stock that I see, let's look at what the defense space is doing. I see only red as far as prices are concerned. A bit of a uptick on Hindustan Aeronautics, but 0.5% higher on 4820, barely says anything. You have Mazgaon Dock 1.5% lower, Bharat Dynamics 1.2% lower, Cochin 1% lower. Nothing much. We'll wait for markets to settle and then come back to what should be a fairly decent and a muted day. Wipro Sakshi is 10% lower, 503. Birla Soft is 5% lower, 685. So it's the IT that's taking it on the chin. Nevertheless, 124 down, 24,407. Amarji, specifically on the way Kotak has opened, would you be a little circumspect with the way how markets are reacting?
Yeah, you asked about a particular stock,
Yes.
Birla Soft.
No, Kotak. The opening quote is about 4% lower.
So if I look at Birla Soft, it seems that it's forming a top somewhere on the upside, and the stock has got good support coming around the 700 odd levels. So I would say that it could witness some sort of consolidation post the rally the stock had witnessed earlier.
Okay, we will continue to look at some of the other stocks as well. Let us see how RBL Bank has opened up. A decent set of earnings, but you know, the slippages were higher by about 6%. Let's see how that one is opening in the pre-opening trade. And apart from this, let's also look at some of the other stocks that were in the positive. So a 1% higher tick for RBL Bank. Let's look at ICICI Lombard. Strong set of earnings coming in for ICICI Lombard also. Profit increasing by almost 49% in the first quarter. The premiums also, gross premiums also increased by about 19.8% as well. So let's see how ICICI Lombard is reacting to its numbers, about 1% higher in trade. Where else can we see at green ticks? JK Cement, let's look at that one. Again, strong set of bottom line figure for JK Cement is something that we saw a 67% uptick on the profitability figure, 1.4% higher in trade. Let's look at how JSW Steel is also shaping up. It was a beat on revenue front for the company, but there was a small miss on the margins front as far as JSW Steel is concerned, at 3.8% lower. So the market's definitely looking at the margins figure on that front. We'll also look at Vedanta. The companies, there's a positive news flow that the company has been declared preferred bidder for two important mining blocks. So that will be important to really look at. Yes, 0.07% of a flattish absolutely at that point in time. Again, let's also look at how Wipro is looking up right now. Looking at right now, the kind of downtick that we saw on ADR was over 11%, 5% downtick right now. That's more sensible. 528.5%, 528 rupees odd is something that we are looking on Wipro as well right here. Let's again look at some of the other brokerage houses reports that we have. We do have on the RIL results, Nomura coming out with the most bullish target of 3600 on RIL. They have a buy rating and a target price of 3600 as the top pick within the space. They do believe it was an inline quarter with a strong outlook that they are promising, and O2C has delivered well in challenging demand environment as well, and the reported net debt is also to the tune of 1.12 trillion rupees, which is moderated. So that's what they are betting big on as of now. We'll also look at how HDFC Bank, there were brokerage houses reports that downgraded the stock to neutral with a target price that they have slashed to 1700 for JP Morgan on HDFC Bank. They are now going to be keenly watching out for how the CASA as well as the asset ratio as it becomes key to monitor from here on. On ICICI Lombard again, Morgan Stanley has an overweight rating with a target price of 2205. The PAT has beaten estimates by about 10% and therefore you see some kind of upticks being emerging on that front. We'll be waiting for Vaishali Parekh to now join in. She is the Vice President of Technical Research and Analysis at Prabhudas Lilladher. She'll be joining us shortly to give us an insight as to how should investors and traders be really looking to trade right ahead of the budget. But let's get in Amarji back into the conversation. Amarji, IT space is something that did show us some promising upticks over the last few weeks, or it did take a turn to be the top performer and lead from the front in the recent while. And we've also seen decent numbers from TCS, from Infosys as well as HCL Technologies. Now Wipro disappointment, could that again derail the upward rally that we were looking in the IT space, or do you still believe the IT space has enough and more to continue moving forward?
I would say that IT, some of the stocks definitely seem to be positively placed. TCS is definitely one of them. the way the stock has rallied above the 4,000 level, and also if you look at the structure of the stock from a long-term perspective, looks positive. Tech Mahindra also, we are seeing some sort of profit booking coming in, but more or less that should be, I would say, the markets would take that in the stride. Some of the other IT stocks, Infosys also is positive on the long-term chart. So effectively, it means is that overall, yes, Wipro could be a disappointment, and that could have act as a dampener. But overall, there is some positive, I would say, sentiments definitely has been built in IT since, I would say, since first week of June, and stocks have rallied. So yes, some profit booking is to be witnessed. But overall, the structure looks positive for the IT stocks.
Fine. Sakshi, the pre-open rates have settled. Nifty is 85 down at 24,445. Whether this is a buy zone or not, only time will tell. But frankly, it's very, very difficult to see anything positive as far as the opening quotes are concerned. HDFC Bank 5 rupees 20 higher, 1612. Reliance has settled 32 rupees lower, 3077, and Kotak 0.5% lower at about 1821. Vaishali Parekh joins us. Good morning to you, Vaishali, and a very warm welcome on the penultimate day before the budget. How do you see this excessive bout of profit booking that happened on Friday, and any stocks that catch your attention on the long side as far as Monday's trade is concerned?
Very good morning to all of you, and first of all, wishing you a very happy birthday, Shailji, and best wishes. So yes, market, we saw on Friday there was some panic setting in mid-cap sector especially, and even in the front line, I think Nifty is showing signs of exhaustion at 24,800 levels. So today also, Gift Nifty indicates a weak start. We will have to wait and watch, because so many times we have seen a dip coming in and again there is buying happening. So for near-term basis, I would look at 24,400 as support. If those levels break, then yes, 24,200 could be the next probable target. And Bank Nifty also, that we've been saying time and again, 52,000, but now I would look at 51,800 as support.
Warm welcome to you, Vaishali. Good to be with you. Now, I think the most difficult question is only your way. I think if it was just what we were at on Wednesday, for instance, it would have been much easier for you to tell us, how to trade the Nifty Bank. But the point is that, the way tide has turned on Thursday and especially on Friday, that makes it all the more difficult for you to guide our viewers. But they are even more confused and need your guidance at this point in time. How to trade the Nifty Bank, and in the markets in the budget week now, ahead of the budget tomorrow, what should be the strategy?
So, well, on Friday itself, we got a sell signal in Nifty, and Bank Nifty, I will wait for a confirmation. But Nifty was showing some signs of exhaustion, as I mentioned. So, well, it is a sell, but for today, and also we are seeing 85 points down right now, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have to wait. So, well, keeping in mind for a near term 24,600 as resistance, one can go short with a limited stop loss. So closer to, if we see a little bounce coming in, 24,600 on spot basis should act as a stop loss. And we can aim for 24,400. And likewise, as I said, 52,600 for near term in Bank Nifty, and 51,800 would be the target. So the view is more on a sell.
Fair point. Let's look at some other prices that may have settled in the pre-open. I specifically want to see the PSU theme. Sakshi, there's nothing positive to talk about. A green tick on IREDA, 0.5% higher, 274. MTNL, we generally don't track, but it's again a green tick, 1.7% higher at 70.48. Nothing much fundamentally improving for the company, but this is a fairly liquidity driven market. What's on the losing side? There's a 5% either uptick on Dredging Corp or a downtick on Dredging Corp. So today it's the downtick, 4% lower, 1242. Oil India 1.5% lower, 562. So there's nothing much happening. How about the auto ancillary space? We are looking at all those sectors that have outperformed in the run up to the budget. So UCL Fuel is 5% lower. FM Godse is 3% lower, and Gabriel is 2.5% lower. On the green side is Bharat Seats and Automobile Industries. Let's look at cement. This is something that I am very keen to look at because of the sharp run up that we've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. Ultratech Cement 0.5% higher, 11,289, and nothing at all. It's going to be, let's see, a day where we just wait for actions to happen. How about AMCs and brokers, because this is going to be a very impacted sector. Okay, look at Anand Rathi, and this will tell you the fear that there is in the market. Let the price come on the screen. 10% lower, 34.20. Remember, the earnings were fantastic. The management was with us, but this is intense profit booking in a share which has gone up from say 800 to about 4,000 odd in a span of 2.5 years. Let's look at what Angel One is doing, because Amarji is here. It's opened in the green, 2,090. But then just about 3 rupees higher. So nothing much happening, Sakshi. Let's get Vaishali's view on the 3 earnings, boys: RIL, Kotak and HDFC Bank. Vaishali, where do you see strength? Where do you see weakness?
So Kotak has been range bound. So I would say Kotak still is in a positive territory with 1780 as near term support. And only if we see a move above 1880 in Kotak, we would say that it's heading for a higher trajectory towards 2000 level. So right now it is a flat start, what we are witnessing. As far as HDFC Bank is concerned, well, that too is holding on well. So in this too, we would see a range of 1580. Below that, the view gets negated. It can go into a sell. But for now, I would expect a range. If we see a bounce coming in, this can go towards 1640, 1650 to start with. And well, even Reliance, if we are talking about, well, that has shown some weakness. And I think it can go further down towards 2800 levels.
Okay, let's look at what the markets are reacting to. The Nifty is down 130 points, 24,400 for you. Whether this is a dip that needs to be purchased only will you know after 15 minutes. But what's pulling the Nifty higher? HDFC Bank earnings reaction, at least for the first 1 minute, 17 rupees higher, 1624. How about Reliance? Okay, this is painful, 2.7% lower, 3026. How about Kotak? More pain, 51 rupees lower, 1769. Remember, Kotak's earnings were burnished by other income which is generated from the sale of its 70% stake in its general insurance business. Infosys is in the green, just 2 rupees higher, 1795. Sakshi, it's not looking good for 2 reasons. 7 out of 10 index heavyweights are in the red. Axis about a percent lower, 10 rupees down, 1282. ICICI Bank 12 rupees lower, 1236. Okay. Now let's look at stocks which are in more pain. Earnings, Wipro 7% lower, 516. Yes Bank is looking good, 4% higher, 2578. Let's look at the top gainers in NSE 500. Okay, Yes Bank's there, and surprisingly so is Oberoi Realty, 4% higher, 1735. Imami, so it's a defensive market, 3.7% higher, 828. Indian Hotels, RBL Bank is also doing good, post earnings 2% lower. What is the banking index doing? Bank Nifty 322 points lower, 51,956. The IT index much worse, a percent lower, 39,570. Vaishali, coming to you first. Anything that catches your fancy on the long side, or should we wait, or would you press a short somewhere?
Well, so Tata Consumer is still showing a lot of strength. It's consolidating. I mean, so I think this is one stock which should continue to do well because FMCG on the whole is quite promising. So I had recommended this earlier, so I would maintain my positive bias for this now with a trading stop loss of 1160. And otherwise, well, sell, we'll have to wait and watch. We had recommended a sell on Canfin Home on Friday and it's doing well. So yes, that is one stock which is still a sell. Technically, I think it is looking for a target of 790, 800.
Okay, I think FMCG names, they are the ones that are ticking higher. Nestle about 0.7% higher. Britannia, you have about 0.6% up. ITC is trading about 0.8% up in trade. Tata Consumer Products, HUL, the entire FMCG basket seems to be still holding on to some gains. Now, when we look at beyond the FMCG market, then you'll see HDFC Bank, that's about 0.8% higher amidst the heavyweight counters. That's trying to provide some support to the markets. Infosys too, remember earnings were good. The stock was higher by about 3.5% on the reaction to earnings on Friday. 1% higher, almost no, half odd percent higher for this one in trade today. Then you also have Ultratech Cement, that's up by 1.3% amidst the heavyweight counters, and there are brokerage houses reports that have now pegged higher targets for Ultratech Cement, and that's probably the reason, about 13,000 kind of levels coming in for Ultratech Cement. So that's pulling up in trade. Grasim is now ticking higher in trade as well. So that's amidst the news on the cement space. Even in the F&O market, JK Cement on positive results is reacting in the green, about 1.2% higher in trade. In the F&O, you also have Oberoi Realty, that's nearly 4% higher. RBL Bank on good results, 1.8% higher. Ultratech Cement I already shared, and Dr. Lal Path Labs, that's another one that's making a comeback after some while. And you also have HDFC Bank and Nestle that's pulling up within the F&O space as well. Amarji, let's get you into the conversation. First up, Ultratech Cement. How would you look at this one and the entire cement pack? Should one really look at this as a place of safe moves?
So if you look at the cement space, we've seen some very sharp up move, and then we are seeing some bout of correction. So first, talking about Ultratech Cement. Ultratech Cement is right now displaying some sort of correction and some sort of profit booking, but overall the trend still remains positive. So currently it's around 11,460 odd levels. So these are crucial support zone where the stock is currently trading. So if it sustains above 11,500 levels, then we could witness some uptick in the stock. But one needs to remember that the short-term momentum is almost negligible there. So it could go in for some consolidation, but the long-term and the intermediate-term trend still continues to remain strong.
Okay. There's absolutely no surprise, Sakshi, in the 2% uptick on India VIX. This is the fear index. And of course, a pointer to rising volatility in the market ahead of the main event. We'll see India VIX right there in front of you, now about 4% higher. It was 2% higher just a minute ago. So this is something that you need to pay attention to. Let's look at build-up of longs as far as the F&O market is concerned. Sakshi, there's pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
Unless you think Oberoi Realty deserves mention. Of course it does. But this is not one of those stocks on which the market pivots or pays more than the due attention than it should. Apart from that, it looks like a cement move. Ultratech is up 1.6, JK you've marked 1.4. Let's look at the cash cement space and see what is buzzing as far as prices are concerned. I have so many screens open that cement gets hidden. Just a moment, please. Okay, cement is here. Okay, we don't track Bhima Cement, we don't do Binani Industries. These are the ones that are up. Nothing much happening in cement as well. PSU is quiet unless you think MTNL deserves mention. Of course, it does, 4% higher, 72.34. Where do we see profit booking in PSUs? Okay, dredging 4% lower, 12.45. Oil India 2.6% lower, Mazgaon BDL 2% down, Cochin down 1.9, Hindustan Zinc slipping 1.7. You have Garden Reach and Hindustan Aeronautics and BEL down more than 1%. Sakshi, is actually pain in the system because out of the 82 PSUs we track, how many are in the green? Okay, just 22 are in the green, and the ones that are in the green are barely the ones that we normally talk about. RCF, RECL in the green, 1.5% higher. Shipping Corporation 1% higher, 308. It's a quiet day, at least in the first 5-7 odd minutes. Okay, it's going to be a cement day. ACC and Ultratech and Ambuja Cement taking it away. Vaishali, what would be a good stock in the cement space to look at?
So I think ACC is well placed right now. 2649 right now. I think we still have our projected target of 3000 levels in this as long as 2450 support is held on. So ACC is to my liking, and JK Cement also post its results is holding on very well. So I think this is one stock to look into. It can go towards 4600.
Okay, got that. Well, very far and few between stocks that are moving up. Okay, within the IT space, I spot one stock that was up even on Friday when the entire market was weak, and again is up by about 5 odd % within the IT pack. That's Quick Heal Technologies. Sharp up move, 4.6% higher in trade. Amarji, Quick Heal Technologies को कैसे देखते हैं within the entire IT pack? Does it give you some signs of continued buying from here on as well?
Yeah, if I look at Quick Heal Technologies, the stock has really taken off. And if we go back in time, so in March of this year, the stock was almost 600, and then from all the way it corrected to 390 levels. And currently it's trading around 640. So if you look at the structure of this particular stock, on the long-term perspective, on the intermediate-term perspective, on the short-term perspective, that continues to remain very strong. So effectively, it means that any pullback is a buying opportunity. Now the stock has got good support coming around the 580, 600 levels. So this is one stock one can look at accumulating on any correction. And also what we have witnessed for the last few trading sessions, the volumes have been significantly higher. But now the stock needs to sustain above the 600 mark. That's very important. But the trend is very strong from this for this stock from a long-term perspective.
Okay, got that. Let's look at within the broader markets. Are there any names that we can spot? There are far and few between names, but let me just reiterate some of them at least. RPG Life Sciences is up 13.5% in trade today. We have Nitin Spinners. We have, it's a 9.3% uptick on this one. Muthoot Capital Services is up by about 7%. You have Anant Raj Limited, that's up by 6%. MTNL already Shell has marked. You also have Tata Tele, that's up in trade. Ujas Energy is up by 5%. You have Shakti Pumps, that's also buzzing in trade, 5% higher for this one. Viceroy Hotels is up by about 5%. I'm just naming because there are just far and few between stocks from every sector that are coming up, not a trend that we can spot across the space. We also have Elki Rubber, that's up by 5 odd %. So some such names, so commodity based, you have lifestyle stocks, you have auto ancillaries, some bit, you have realty stocks, some of these stocks that are buzzing. Broader markets, what appeals to you right now, Vaishali? Anything that catches your fancy?
Well, actually, IT sector is picking up. So Infosys is once again getting into momentum. So that is one stock. And I think in the metal category, actually mining, NMDC has corrected quite a bit. So I would look at that because NMDC can give a good bounce from here. 220 as stop loss and look for a target of 240.
Okay, so it's completely defensive. FMCG, IT, as Vaishali is pointing out, and now even pharma is ticking higher. Torrent Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, Zydus Life, Granules, Alchem Laboratories, Divi's. Some gains at least are coming in. Not very major, but up to 1% kind of gains that are coming in, but larger participation into the green is what we are seeing. A completely defensive market, and now we are seeing some pull from the lower levels even for the PSU banks share.
Right. Let's look at the Nifty. There seems to be a bit of a bounce back. We are at 927. We'll wait for the first 15 minutes to lapse and then bother Vaishali. But look at the low. The low on the Nifty for the moment is somewhere from where the market has bounced back. The low being 24,362 and we are at 451. So that's what I'm just trying to say in our opening quotes, that an intraday pullback is possible, and we'll again wait for another 3 minutes for the first candle to sort of come up, but the 15-minute or the 5-minute window on the Nifty seems to be that after 269 point fall on Friday and another 100-point downtick, there seems to be some hope building towards the long side. The low, as I have reiterated, is 24,362, and for the moment we are at 24,462, a 100-point uptick. Look at Kotak Bank, Sakshi, again a breakdown. This is down 3.5%. It's taken out its 21 EMA and 200 EMA in one single shot. Look at Wipro, exactly the same picture. The stock is the largest, is the top loser as far as F&O is concerned, and this is also at its lowest since 1st of July. Vaishali, any view that emerges on Wipro?
Well, Wipro, I'm really disappointed because the way it has performed, I was looking for higher targets. But all the same, I would say that yes, I mean, right now what we are seeing, today's low, I mean, 510 should not break, because if 510 level breaks, then it is totally a damage to the trend. So for now, I would say it can, if, well, it has to participate, it should give a bounce from here.
Amarji, let's get you to speak on the hospitality space. We have a lot of these hotel names that are buzzing. Royal Orchid Hotel is up by 2.5%, Indian Hotels is up by 1.9%, Viceroy Hotels I marked, it's up about 4.5% high in trade. You also have some other smaller hotel stocks also buzzing in trade today. What strikes your attention here? We also have tourism related stocks now buzzing, ITDC, Wonderla Holidays. These are the kind of stocks that are coming up. Probably some hopes building on right ahead of the budget, Amar?
Yeah, so looking at the IT space, looking at the hotel space, we are seeing some sort of profit booking happening across the board. And amongst that, Indian Hotels is one stock one can definitely keep a close watch on. We are witnessing some sort of consolidation there. But on any further correction, one can look at a buying opportunity in this particular space.
Okay. You know, some green ticks that are emerging even in the defense space now. Zen Technologies, Idea Forge, Bharat Electronics, Astra Microwave Products, Garden Reach Shipbuilders, HAL. Some green ticks are coming back onto the space. Vaishali, would you like to take a bet afresh on any of the defense names, or would you stay on the sidelines?
So I would say just for a bounce back strategy, DEL looks good to me. I think 295 acts as a stop loss, and well, for now the trading target comes to 315, 316. If we sustain about that, then perhaps 320.
Fair point. 9:31. Okay, the first 15 minutes is with us. 24,462, a bounce from day's low of 24,362, and still down 70. As far as the Nifty Bank is concerned, we have managed to hold 52,000 with the bulls. We'll pay attention to the Nifty, because Bank Nifty in any case has been in a sideways trend. Vaishali, are you itching to take a trade on the long side as far as Nifty is concerned, or do we just sort of let it go?
I'll wait.
Will you wait for a short trade, or will you wait for a long trade?
I think short. I'll be more comfortable with a short.
Okay. फेयर पॉइंट, पैसे ही तो बनाने, लॉन्ग जाके बनाए या शॉर्ट जाके बनाए, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है. लेट मी जस्ट शो यू another interesting data, and that comes in from the advanced decline ratio that we see in the F&O market. For the moment, Sakshi, it's even Stevens, 98 down, 88 up. So we'll just take it, that it's an equal battle happening for supremacy between the bulls and the bears. What is in good shape? Cement. JK Cement up 3.7, actually now up 4. Ultratech up 2, ACC up 1.6, Ambuja, Grasim, Shree Cement in the green. The only one that's in the red is Dalmia Cement, and we won't be bothered about the minor downtick there. What is up? Well, NTPC, Power Grid and Tata Power within the long build-up of stocks. and of course Indian Hotels and Oberoi Realty is what Sakshi's already marked for you. What's buzzing? Okay, BPCL up 309, 1.7% higher, and of course HPCL 1.6% higher, 347. What's in pain? A sell where Vaishali's magic is working. Canfin Homes is the top loser today, down 3.5% at 819. Anything else that catches your attention, Amarji, which this market might have thrown up as a surprise on Monday?
Yeah, I would say that if you look at some of the stocks in the some of the stocks in the reality space, because
Yes.
if you look at Oberoi Reality, so this is one stock which has bounced back today, and it appears that the stock could witness some further rally. It's currently around 1774 odd level, so sustaining above the 1750, 1760, the stock could rally towards the 1800 level. So this is a stock one can keep a close watch on.
Okay, got that. So that's Oberoi Realty for you. Would you add any name to the list of the real estate stocks, Vaishali, or is Oberoi Realty today the best bet?
Well, I would look at DLF also for a
DLF
bounce
also.
back right now, because DLF also has been just consolidating. So with today's lowest stop loss, one can really consider, because if this stock goes above 840, 845, we are in on the perfect track again.
Okay. Vaishali, the power space now for you. NTPC is now up 2.2% higher, NHPC up 1.8%, SJVN 1.5% higher, Power Grid is ticking up in trade as well. You have JSW Energy, SJVN, Tata Power 1.5% higher in trade. The power space seems to be seeing some buying emerge. What looks good?
I like SJVN because this also has been consolidating since a very long time, and currently it is at a moving average support cluster of moving average. So I think this too can bounce back. Besides, of course, REC, Power Grid, they are all in the positive territory still. So yes, this could be a good buying strategy right now.
Sakshi, just 51 points down on the Nifty. We have 24,450 back with the bulls, and what's pulling it higher? Surprise, surprise, HDFC Bank.
HDFC Bank.
1.3% higher. It's contributing 21 points to Nifty's uptick. NTPC 9 points, Infosys 8 points, Ultratech and SBI respectively 6 and 5 points. What's pulling it lower? Reliance, earnings boy. The 60-point pain in negativity is because of Reliance. 20-point pain is because of Kotak. ICICI is muted to 1% lower. Remember, ICICI is actually the third highest weighted stock. We normally confuse it with Infosys, but it's HDFC Bank, Reliance and ICICI, the three heaviest weighted counters, out of which Reliance and ICICI are down, contributing about 180 points to Nifty's downtick. So you can well imagine the level of selling pressure, but it's easing.
Yeah, it's easing, and that's the best part.
Exactly. Bank of Baroda is now 1.2% higher,
Yeah.
253.60. You have a green tick on Canara Bank, 0.5% higher, 113.85. See, these are the stocks that we are marking, which are trader favorites. They show how the market is pivoting from a high of what was Friday's high. Just let's check that out. Friday's high was somewhere like 24,854 to today's low 24,362. So you shaved off 500 points. बहुत है, इंट्राडे करेक्शन हो गया, बीच में वीकेंड भी था. 500 points is enough. What do you say, Vaishali?
Well, bounce back to hona hi hai, but I think I'm not comfortable going in for buy, because market can turn out to be very volatile. Tomorrow
Yes.
being the so yes, and market did give us ample of opportunity, so I will just chill.
Yeah, I think nobody should protest on the rally on the long side. If you haven't made money on this one, you have no one to blame except yourself. And Sakshi, those people who held on to their long positional trades have made more money than intraday traders.
That's true.
Amarji, what would be your view?
See, on the markets, I would say overall we could witness some selling at higher levels in the index. I would say because we have the budget also. So and the index has bounced back from the lows. So clearly tells me that there is very strong support coming around the 24,300, 400 zone. But again, on the upside, Nifty could meet with some sort of resistance around the 24,550, 600. And rather we should wait for the budget. But higher levels could be sold in today.
Okay, that's an interesting thought that higher levels could be sold into Thursday. But then, you know, Sakshi, what's life if you don't have a bit of volatility? We'll again look at the India VIX for you, ladies and gentlemen. It was up 4% when we checked last time, and ahead of such events, the volatility rises. It's pretty much there where it sort of was about 7 minutes ago. Nevertheless, pain points, Amarji, what are the spaces where you think intraday peaks will be sold into again?
So if you look at FMCG, definitely is one space that one should keep a close watch on, because we've seen some very good movement in the mid cap FMCG space. Like if you look at Imami, Dabur, Marico, we are also seeing some positive momentum building in HUL. Then I would say one can also keep a close watch on the pharma space. Some of the stocks in the pharma space they could perform, and the IT space as well. So these are three sectors which one can keep a close watch on.
Okay, Amarji, thank you so much for the wonderful time and the excellent suggestions that you made for our viewers. Before we let you go, we'll just mark the Nifty for everybody's benefit, down just 43 at 24,488. The battle for 24,500 has begun between the bulls and the bears. Let's see how it goes. We are at 939, and my understanding is that you'll see a green tick, Sakshi, on the Nifty.
Hopefully so. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Amar, for being with us on this edition. We'll continue our conversation with Vaishali to really find if there is any sign.
Thank you. And I would just like to wish Salinji on his birthday. So thank you, Vaishali, for letting me know. And have a great day ahead. Thank you.
You are very kind, Amarji. Thank you so much. And Vaishali, thank you to you as well for the warm wishes. Very kind of you. Thank you.
All right. आपकी आज बर्थडे विश एक पूरी हो सकती है
क्या?
तो अब आप माजार के लिए कुछ भी विश बना दीजिए जो भी आपको चाहिए. I'm sure वो that will be fulfilled. This is the time that we can at least hope on that.
My hope is that people move away from trading and get into deep value stocks, get into serious investing. Sakshi, I have heard horror stories of people losing their life savings, getting their parents into deep trouble in a market which is trending higher. See, from 18,000 to 25,000, we've barely taken a breath. From a low of 21,232, we are at almost 24,800 in the blink of an eye, in less than maybe 30-35 trading sessions. Yet people are losing money. So my hope is they would pay attention to simple investing, put in good SIPs, invest for the longer term. This is a huge bull market that is unfolding upon us. If we lose money in this one, ladies and gentlemen, we have nobody else to blame except ourselves. And making money is very easy. Just buy simple good mutual funds, put in monthly SIPs and wait for the market to reward you, rather than trouble it intraday and try to make money every 5 seconds. You lose it.
Very, very important message right there on Shail's birthday that he's sharing. A big learning that he's seen, by observing markets for a fairly long time. And, like all of us, we keep on learning from you, Shail, and your experience. And we wish you great health and a fantastic year ahead. Full of good surprises. और अभी आपने बोला हरा निशान देखिए निफ्टी बैंक में तो आ ही गया है.
This is all grace. This is all grace.
Yes, may the grace continue to be showering upon you, choicest blessings. So have a fantastic year ahead, and may we keep on encouraging all our viewers to follow the right path when it comes to the stock markets as well. Vaishali, green tick on Nifty Bank. How are you looking at the market setup now?
So I think now for intraday purpose, as we are saying, it has taken support. I think this bounce can go towards 24,600, 650. That's how I'm looking at Nifty. And Bank Nifty also, as I mentioned, 51,800. So today low is 51,874. This can go towards 52,500.
Okay. So actually a lot of banks, smaller ones are making a comeback. I think they're enthused by the earnings show at HDFC Bank at least. Look at the Nifty PSU index. All 12 stocks are in the green, and that's a big positive. The big boy SBI headed towards 900. You have a strong uptick on PNB. Again, I mentioned those high beta counters because that's where trading and trader mentality is there. Can Bank 1.5% higher, Bank of Baroda 1.4% higher. And what's also turned in the green for a very brief moment was the Nifty 500 index. Now down just 9 points, it'll just come back in the green. Let's just look at the advanced decline ratio. That is how the psychology of investment is decided on an intraday basis. Sakshi, just 10 minutes ago, all 19 indices were in the red. Right? Now we have 4 plus 4, 9. 9 indices in the green, led by the PSU banking index, and this is the highest beta. Remember how the market is moving, which is that it's moving towards the green. The day's low on the Nifty has been 24,362. From there, we are 120 higher. And now I see a nice green tick on cement. I see a nice green tick on telecom. I see a nice green tick on parts of pharma. And of course, the PSU basket might be just turning the tide. Yes. Okay. And Sakshi, one stock will tell you this entire history. BEML, low of 45.40. Let's see the intraday chart of BEML. From a low of 45.40, the counter is at 47.50. So it's a 300 point uptick that you are seeing. The counter is now 2.5% higher. Look at high beta. RCF, Shipping Corporation is actually 7.5% higher.
Wow.
328. So a day before the budget, it looks to be getting better and better after Friday's scare and the 120 point drop in the morning. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Cochin Shipyard now up by 2.2% as well. 2602. That's the level at which Cochin is now trading at. You have HAL, BEL both in the green. Mazagon Dock up 1% now. GRSE up by about 0.9%. You have Data Patterns, Bharat Dynamics up by 0.3%. So the entire defense space is also turning positive for now. A lot of these auto ancillary names are also ticking higher. Within the auto space, you have Ashok Leyland, that's up by 1%. M&M, you also have Hero Moto, Tata Motors that are ticking higher in trade. Auto ancillaries, now Gabriel India is up by 2%, Talbros Auto up 2%, Sundaram Fasteners, NRB Bearings, Craftsman Automation, these are some of the other stocks that are ticking higher in trade. So the auto ancillary pack is also buzzing in trade. Of course, cement pack we've already mentioned for our viewers, and even the other building materials like Serra Sanitary Ware, Asian Granito, Somani Ceramics, Greenply Industries. Again, the hopes of the budget, I think, are propelling these stocks higher now after that recent fall. Some other miscellaneous names I'm going to be taking now. Everest Kanto Industries up 4% in trade. You have Excel Realty, Digi Content, some far and few between stocks that are buzzing in trade right now. Yes, you are definitely seeing a pickup that's happening, and the markets seem to be believing that okay, whatever the correction had to happen ahead of the budget is probably nearly done. Now it all depends on what the budget will have to say. Sorry?
मेरा बर्थडे भी तो है.
आपका बर्थडे है तो उसकी वजह से तो वो तो है ही. आज आपने ग्रीन भी नहीं पहना है.
वो तो मैंने जानबूझ के पहना.
आज आपकी बर्थडे शॉपिंग क्या है? आज बर्थडे शॉपिंग आप क्या करोगे आप?
That's a very interesting thought. I normally buy shares for myself for the super long term, and let me see. I'll just sort of, between 12 and 1, I think about it. But definitely, I'll let you know.
Yeah. So what
You
you're
know,
saying, BTML really looks good from here. And that's one of the stocks which I always focus on, and it's showing good signs. Yeah.
which one?
BEML?
BML.
BEML, of course, yes. And Sakshi, you pointed out Cochin.
Yes.
Okay, I'm requesting the PCI to file an intraday chart of Cochin. You'll see something interesting. And see, this one's up 300 rupees from day's low. Look at Cochin. Look at the low, 2462.
Wow.
And from 2462, in a span of, so let's presume this is 917, okay? Between 917 and 947, in a span of half an hour, the counters traveled about 200 points.
Yes.
And we still have the rest of the day left. Now let's flip this chart. I'll request the PCR to fire a long-term chart of Cochin. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, the most interesting part comes in. Look at the all-time high of Cochin Shipyard. That's somewhere like 29, right? 2900 exactly. So from 29, it's corrected to 2462.
And again.
Right?
Yeah.
And what is 2462? It's the 21-day exponential moving average. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's presume that for high beta, the correction seems to be sort of over, and PCR does this to show Cochin Shipyard in particular. 1 year, 3x, bas 300% bada. Vaishali, have you ever seen such a time?
No. I think this has been really a treat. These last 3-4 years, ever since COVID, we've got phenomenal returns.
Okay. And are we meeting in Delhi on July 28th, 29th?
I won't be there. I'm traveling, unfortunately. So I've been missing out lots of these lectures, but yes.
Okay. So Vaishali and I are in a common study group, and she has some wonderful tricks up her sleeve as far as technical charts are concerned for the short term, and we often meet twice a year. But this time, Vaishali, there are great sales happening in Delhi. Maybe I can sort of attract you with that. The money that you made over the last 3-4 years in the market, you have to spend it in the economy.
I really want to come, but unfortunately it was all pre-planned for me to travel, so it's not happening this time. I've been missing out quite a bit this year, but I will make up very soon.
Well, the market's more than generous. You made it up that side.
Yeah. Okay. Well, only about 1/10% lower on the Nifty right now. It's now trading at 24,499. 24,500 is definitely now going to be seen, and we are hoping that at least that stays. Yes, that's on your screen now, 24,500 too. So we've recovered quite a bit in the market.
Now, Sakshi, one more important point. Let's look at the Nifty advance and decline. Okay, what's the Nifty advance and decline? 14:36. Overall the picture in terms of numbers looks bleak. But remember, it's the heavyweights that are pulling it up, which is HDFC Bank. If Reliance flattens out, if ICICI flattens out, Nifty will again be back in the green. And remember, we just marked 9 indices in the green out of 19. Now 16 out of 19 indices are in the green. So slowly but certainly the move is towards the green side. The small cap index is up 0.5%. The Nifty mid cap select index is 1/3% higher. And what is the PSU banking index doing? 0.5% higher. It's okay. 0.5% gains bhi chal jayega. Sakshi.
That's very true. And of course, most of the market is now turning green. We have PSU banks, pharma, auto, FMCG, metals, banking names, financial services, they're all up and about. And we are now seeing even the broader markets, mid and the small caps also turn green. Remember, this is the space that lost a lot of ground on the last few days of, crash, when the, dips that we saw in the markets. It was the pain point was being seen across the board in the broader markets. They're also ticking higher now. Within the small caps, what's actually buzzing? ITI, Tata Tele Services, you have Nippon Life India Assurance, Cochin we've marked, NBCC is now up 3.5%, Hudco is coming back 3% higher in trade. Of course, Cyient is within the IT space is up 2.5%. You also have Himadri Specialty Chemicals. You have the gas authority stocks like GAIL, MGL, Indraprastha. They are all up and about. Then you have Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. PVR Inox is also taking higher in trade within the small cap. So lots of interesting names right there. Let's also see what's happening within the Nifty Next 50. REC 2.3% higher in trade. So that's
Never
coming back.
disappoints.
That's also coming back. And then you have, of course, ICICI Lombard on the back of earnings also is ticking higher in trade. DLF, like Vaishali was pointing out to, is now 1.4% higher. LIC is at 1122, 1.3% higher. Let's get insurance word from you, Vaishali. ICICI Lombard is up. You also have New India Assurance that's up. LIC is up in trade. Where would you keep your focus?
So I do like LIC because I think we are expecting a target of around 1200 or so. So that is one stock to my liking. Even GICRE still has a lot of upside potential. And of course, HDFC Life and all have already shown a run up. We maintain a positive bias.
Okay. Sakshi, remember the FNO advanced decline that I had mentioned, 88 in the green and 98 in the red. Well, now it's 134 in the green and just 50 in the red. And what's really exciting is that look at the low on Kotak. That will give you an idea about what the market is thinking. The low on Kotak as far as futures is concerned is 1756, and from then on you have it on 1771. Look at the low on Reliance Industries. What I am trying to say is that even if it is in the red, it is higher from its intraday low. What is Reliance's low? 1000, it's still there. So it's actually HDFC Bank, Infosys, and the entire pharma pack. We have 5 pharma stocks in the Nifty. All 5 of them are up, led by Dr. Reddy's. So, okay, 24,500 is back with us. Remember, we were at 24,362. So, things have improved dramatically. And the entire high beta, low ticket, super trader friendly PSU pack is showing signs of life back in the green. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Vaishali, to you now, what looks good as the markets are now incrementally turning positive? Where are the newer signs of buying emerging?
So I would say actually, if you have a look at Page Industries, that is one stock which has got into a trend and it's really not affected by the market whipsaws. So I like this stock as a positional trade. I would accumulate this stock with the support of 38,600 levels. Currently, it's just bounced from 39 odd to 4,200. I think this is a trade which I would like to go for. It can go towards 43,000 to 45,000 levels.
Okay, got that. So we'll continue to keep an eye out on Page Industries then, as Vaishali has pointed that out. Okay, let's again look at what else is buzzing. Okay, PSU banks for you, Vaishali. Where would you continue to keep your focus? This is the top performing sectoral index right now.
So PSU banks, I still have my favorite SBI.
SBI, okay. So that's of course one stock that we'll continue to keep an eye out on. Beyond that, we're also seeing Canara Bank now 1.5% higher, Union Bank, Bank of Baroda, Bank of Maharashtra. The entire space seems to be now, gaining pace in this current market. And pharma space for you, Vaishali, what looks good within the pharma pack? That's also showing ticks higher.
So I would say that, Biocon is corrected quite a bit.
Yeah.
Of course, Dr. Reddy's, Divi's, they are all showing a lot of strength. But good buying opportunity, according to me, would be Biocon now.
Okay, got that.
957. Sakshi, let me give you some more interesting data which points to a fairly decent intraday recovery. You know, all I see is green. So the stocks that tick on a per second basis in FNO are showing momentum on the green side, and therefore that part of the screen is coming up sharply in terms of gains. Keep an eye out on Schneider Electric. Let's see this chart. At the moment, this is the top gainer in the NSE 500 list, 784. I'll request the PCR to fire a long-term chart. Till some time ago, Sakshi, this was at 900.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and this is a correction that's now sort of, it may have ended, but keep an eye out on Schneider Electric. You were Sakshi, you were Vaishali asking birthday purchases. You know, maybe this. I spoke about. I barely ever speak on stocks. Indus Towers I spoke about at 327, 328. It's up at 415. There is still scope for this one to head higher. That's looking good. But Sakshi, what's a bit of pain is the turnover that is on NSE 500. In terms of most active, first 20 are in the red.
Okay.
But they are up from intraday lows. Please remember that. For an intraday basis, that makes a lot of sense. What's moving in the green? Tata Tele Maharashtra, 5.7% high, 108. We normally don't discuss this stock, but that's looking good. There's now a green take on Mazgaon Dock. We've discussed BEML, Cochin, kahin Mazgaon Burana maan jaye. 52.63 for you, 2.6% higher. And of course, BEL back in the green, 0.5% higher, 308.50. Looking good. And you've marked Hutco. I'll mark LIC. Both of them have been discussed. 2.8, 2.6% higher respectively. 9:59, ladies and gentlemen. Time to sort of wrap it up for the first 1.5 hour of trade. Sakshi.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Vaishali, for being with us on this very special edition. And there you have it, Shail. It couldn't have been possible that you wish for it and it does not happen on your birthday. Green tick on the Nifty, 24,532 right there in front of you, all of you on your screens as well. So birthday wish for Shail is getting granted, and of course the message that he shared, I hope all of you adhere to it as well. And with that, viewers, we'll start to wrap up the trade. The Nifty is in front of you. NTPC, BPCL, HDFC Bank, Ultratech Cement, Grasim are the top movers. So it's the PSU stocks making a comeback. It's the banking stocks that are holding up. The pharma space also taking a bit higher. Broader markets now participating. Cement space looking good. Some real estate counters coming back. Hospitality related stocks also taking higher in trade as of now. The India VIX, although it continues to hold up at 4.2% higher in trade at 15.4. So that's the watch that we need to have an eye out on. But barring, I think, realty, IT, consumer durables, oil and gas and the private banks, rest of the sectors now look positive and into the green. Let's hope that the markets are able to sustain this momentum on the upside for the rest of the day as well. But we'll continue to get you all the important and exciting conversations on markets, on earnings going forward, and of course the economic survey. That will be very important, and our managing editor will be doing some special shows, so do log in for that on Business Today Television to get an insight from the top economists' voices who are understanding and who will be sharing with us as to what could the economic survey insights really mean for the upcoming budget as well. Stay tuned on Business Today Television. Join us as we explain the impact of the first budget of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third term.
your investments, your future. Watch how the budget drives India's Atmanirbhar market.
From taxes to healthcare, from Manrega to Ayushman Bharat, we bring you all the policy moves.
Get expert insights on how Nirmala Sitharaman's 7th budget affects your finances.
Decode the big numbers and the new policies shaping our nation's future. Tune in to Business Today for Modinomics 3.0 live on Budget Day.
Presented by ICICI Direct, banking partner PNB.
The third day of the Republican National Convention was the day for the Vice President pick, J.D. Vance, as he accepted his nomination and addressed the convention. The 39-year-old running mate of Donald Trump